Right now, across the Midwest, thermometers are reading 20 degrees below zero. Wind chills, 40 below. But here's what nobody's talking about. In just 72 hours, those same cities could see temperatures surge by 80 degrees. 80. This isn't a typo. This is the most dramatic weather reversal we've seen in years, and it's going to change everything about the next 10 days leading up to Christmas. The question everyone's asking, what happens when winter disappears overnight? Stay with me, because at the 3-minute 20-second mark, I'm going to show you exactly which cities will hit 50 degrees by Thursday morning. That's 50 degrees in places that are currently colder than most freezers. Let's start with what's happening right this second. Minneapolis, 20 below zero. Chicago, 0 degrees. Indianapolis, Springfield, Illinois, single digits. These aren't wind chills, these are actual air temperatures. If you're outside for more than 10 minutes without proper protection, frostbite becomes a real concern. But here's the twist nobody saw coming. A massive ridge of high pressure is building over the Great Plains right now. By Tuesday, it's going to punch through the jet stream like a battering ram. The jet stream, those upper-level winds that control our weather, is about to do something meteorologists call a meridional flip. Sounds complicated, but here's what it means for you. Warm air from the Pacific is going to flood into the central United States faster than we've seen all winter. How fast? Let me put this in perspective. Lincoln, Nebraska will go from 5 degrees on Monday morning to 65 degrees by Wednesday afternoon. That's a 60-degree swing in 48 hours. Omaha, same story. Des Moines, expect 50s by Wednesday. Even Chicago, which is 0 degrees right now, will climb into the 40s by Thursday morning. Now here's where it gets interesting, and this is critical for anyone with snow on the ground right now. Indianapolis just recorded its second snowiest start to winter on record. That record goes back to 1884, 141 years of data. Tilton, Illinois picked up over 8 inches yesterday. Central Illinois saw widespread 6 to 8 inch totals. Southern New England, New York City, even Washington, D.C. got hit with significant snowfall overnight. All that snow, it's about to vanish. When temperatures jump from the teens to the 50s in 36 hours, snow doesn't just melt, it disappears at an alarming rate. We're talking about inches of snow turning into runoff in a single afternoon. And that leads us to the first major concern: rapid snowmelt flooding. Here's what the pattern looks like, hour by hour. Sunday night into Monday morning, the Arctic blast shifts east. If you're in Virginia, the Carolinas, even northern Florida, you're going to feel temperatures drop into the 20s and low 30s by Monday dawn. Yes, northern Florida could see freezing temperatures Monday morning. That's how far south this cold air is diving. But by Monday afternoon, watch what happens in the west. Temperatures in Kansas City will already be climbing into the 30s. Denver hits the 40s. By Tuesday morning, the freezing line retreats all the way back to the Great Lakes. Tuesday is when the transformation begins. The central and northern plains will run 20 to 30 degrees above average. Many cities will break above freezing for the first time in days. Nebraska, Kansas, even parts of South Dakota will see temperatures in the 50s and 60s. Some spots in Texas, we're talking 70s on Tuesday. Wednesday amplifies everything. Southern Illinois, Western Kentucky. If you have snow on the ground, enjoy it while it lasts, because Wednesday afternoon, temperatures will surge into the upper 40s and low 50s. Any remaining snowpack will melt rapidly. By Wednesday evening, we're looking at potential runoff issues across the Ohio Valley. But Thursday is when this pattern reaches its peak. At 9 a.m. on Thursday morning, these are the actual forecasted temperatures. Indianapolis, 52 degrees. Chicago, 48 degrees. Milwaukee, 46 degrees. Columbus, Ohio, 51 degrees. These are morning temperatures, not afternoon highs. The actual highs on Thursday could touch the upper 50s in some locations. Now, the best part is coming at minute 5, and it's going to explain why this warmth won't last. Here's the catch. While all this is happening, a line of showers and thunderstorms will be racing across the Midwest Thursday afternoon. Behind that line, temperatures will crash. Not back to Arctic levels, but they will drop 15 to 20 degrees in just a few hours. Why does this matter? Because any moisture left on the roadways from snowmelt will refreeze Friday morning. We go from 50 degrees and melting Thursday afternoon to below freezing Friday dawn. That's a recipe for black ice. Invisible. Dangerous. Especially on untreated roads that were clear just hours before. Let me show you the timeline, city by city. Friday brings another blast of cold air, but nothing like what we just experienced. Minnesota, Wisconsin, Michigan will see temperatures drop 10 to 15 degrees below average. The Ohio Valley and East Coast will cool off, but we're talking low 30s, not single digits. It's a relative cool down, not a deep freeze. Saturday and Sunday tell a completely different story in the South. The Southern Plains and Mississippi Valley could approach temperature records Saturday afternoon. Arkansas, Texas, Kentucky might see readings in the upper 70s, potentially touching 80 degrees in spots. In mid-December, while parts of the Great Lakes are still dealing with temperatures in the 30s. This creates one of the most extreme temperature contrasts we've seen this season. On Saturday, the difference between International Falls, Minnesota, and Dallas, Texas could be 55 degrees. That's nearly the same temperature difference between a refrigerator and a warm summer day. Now let's talk about what's developing out west, because this is the story that's going to dominate the entire week. The Pacific Northwest is about to get absolutely hammered. We're not talking about regular rain. We're talking about an atmospheric river event that's going to dump catastrophic amounts of precipitation across Washington and Oregon over multiple days. What's an atmospheric river? Think of it as a fire hose of moisture in the sky, thousands of miles long, hundreds of miles wide, carrying as much water as 15 Mississippi rivers. When that taps into the Pacific and aims directly at the coast, flooding becomes inevitable. Rivers in western Washington are already at major flood stage. Some haven't receded from the last event. Now they're about to get hit again. Tuesday night into Wednesday morning will be the worst period. Seattle, Portland, the entire I-5 corridor from Olympia to Eugene could see rainfall rates exceeding half an inch per hour for sustained periods. We're forecasting total rainfall amounts of 4 to 8 inches across the coastal ranges. Higher elevations in the Cascades, 10 to 15 inches of rain. That water has to go somewhere. Mudslides become a serious concern in areas with steep terrain and saturated soils. Flash flooding will impact low-lying areas and poor drainage zones. Urban flooding is likely in cities that can't handle this much water this quickly. But here's the connection to the rest of the country, and this is where next week's weather pattern starts to take shape. All that moisture eventually has to go somewhere. By Wednesday and Thursday, a powerful low-pressure system will develop over the northern Rockies and southern Canada. This storm will be intense. Winter storm conditions are likely across southern Canada, potentially dumping 1 to 2 feet of snow in some areas. The northern edge of this system could clip the upper Midwest and northern plains Thursday into Friday. We're not expecting a massive snowstorm, but accumulating snow is possible in parts of Minnesota, North Dakota, and northern Wisconsin. The southern side of this system? That's where severe weather enters the conversation. Thursday, across the Ohio Valley, strong to isolated severe thunderstorms are on the table. We're talking about a December severe weather event. Damaging winds are the primary concern. Isolated wind gusts could reach 50 to 60 miles per hour in the strongest storms. The tornado risk appears low, but it's not zero. Any December tornado is noteworthy because the atmosphere usually isn't energetic enough to support them this time of year. Friday, the storm moves into the northeast. Snow will be mainly confined to Canada. New England sees lots of rain, but not much snow. The rain could be heavy at times, but the main story is the wind. Gusty winds of 30 to 40 miles per hour are likely Friday afternoon and evening across the Northeast. Then, the pattern reloads for the weekend. More moisture streams over the Rockies late Friday into Saturday. Another storm system tries to develop by Saturday and Sunday. The intensity is still uncertain, but snow is back on the table for the Midwest and Great Lakes. Maybe another round of showers and thunderstorms for the Ohio Valley late weekend. What does this mean for Christmas? Here's where uncertainty enters the forecast. Christmas is still 10 days away, and weather patterns this far out can change. But current modeling suggests a fairly calm pattern right around December 25th. The GFS model, one of our primary forecasting tools, isn't showing any major storms for Christmas Day itself. However, the temperature pattern is becoming clearer. The Climate Prediction Center's 8 to 14-day outlook, covering December 21st through 27th, shows above-average temperatures across most of the United States. The only exceptions are the Pacific Northwest and the extreme northern tier. Think North Dakota, Minnesota, and northern New England. Everyone else? Above average. Significantly above average in many cases. The Great Plains, Midwest, Ohio Valley, and Desert Southwest are all favored to run warmer than normal, leading up to and through Christmas. If you're in Texas or Oklahoma, you might want to leave those winter jackets in the closet. You probably won't need them for a while. Southern Plains and Southeast, you can wave winter goodbye for now. We're looking at what meteorologists call a torch pattern, basically well above average temperatures that make it feel more like early fall than midwinter. But will there be a white Christmas anywhere? Despite the warmth, the answer is yes. The Midwest and Northern Plains should maintain snow cover through Christmas. Why? Because even though we're talking about above average temperatures, above average in late December for places like Minnesota and Wisconsin still means temperatures in the 20s and 30s. That's cold enough to preserve snowpack, especially in shaded areas and places with deep accumulations. Plus, remember that potential storm system next weekend? If that delivers snow Saturday or Sunday, it could refresh the snowpack just in time for Christmas. Now, let's put this all together with specific numbers for the next 7 days. Sunday afternoon, highs will be brutal across the Midwest. We're not even talking about high temperatures. These are basically low temperatures. Minneapolis struggles to reach 5 degrees. Milwaukee, 8 degrees. Chicago, maybe 10 degrees. These are afternoon maximums, not morning lows. Monday, the freezing line plunges to the Gulf Coast. Jackson, Mississippi could drop to 30 degrees. Baton Rouge, low 30s. Even Pensacola, Florida might flirt with freezing Monday morning. Meanwhile, the Midwest starts to moderate slightly. Chicago climbs into the mid-teens. Not warm, but better than Sunday. Tuesday, the warm-up accelerates in the central U.S. Kansas City reaches 48 degrees. Wichita, 53 degrees. Oklahoma City, 61 degrees. Dallas could hit 70 degrees on Tuesday. In the Midwest, Chicago manages the low 30s, Minneapolis, upper 20s. Still cold, but the trend is obvious. Wednesday spreads the warmth eastward. St. Louis hits 55 degrees. Louisville, 52 degrees. Indianapolis, 48 degrees. Even Detroit might crack 40 degrees Wednesday afternoon. Snow cover will diminish rapidly across southern portions of Illinois, Indiana, and Ohio. Thursday morning at 9 a.m. Before the cold front arrives, this is what thermometers will read. Louisville, 54 degrees. Indianapolis, 52 degrees. St. Louis, 57 degrees. Nashville, 61 degrees. These morning temperatures are warmer than the afternoon highs just 3 days earlier. Thursday afternoon, the cold front sweeps through with showers and storms. Behind it, temperatures fall. But we're talking about a drop from the 50s into the 40s, then the 30s overnight. Not a return to Arctic air, just a reality check. Friday, northern areas cool down. Minneapolis, 26 degrees. Duluth, 19 degrees. But southern areas remain mild. Little Rock, 58 degrees. Memphis, 56 degrees. The contrast is striking. Saturday might be the warmest day of the entire period for the South. Dallas could reach 82 degrees. Houston, 81 degrees. San Antonio, 84 degrees. These are temperatures typically seen in April or May, not mid-December. Meanwhile, Saturday in Minneapolis, 31 degrees. Fargo, 28 degrees. A 55-degree difference between Dallas and Fargo. In the same country, on the same day. Sunday continues the split. The South stays warm, the North stays seasonable. And then we march toward Christmas with that generally warmer than average pattern. Here's what you need to remember about the next 10 days. First, if you're in the Midwest or Ohio Valley right now, this brutal cold is temporary. Relief is coming by midweek. But with that relief comes rapid snowmelt and potential refreezing issues by Friday. Second, the Pacific Northwest faces a serious flooding threat this week. If you live in western Washington or Oregon, pay close attention to local river forecasts and flood warnings. This is not a situation to take lightly. Third, severe weather is possible Thursday across the Ohio Valley. December, severe weather events are unusual but not unprecedented. Have a way to receive warnings if you're in that region. Fourth, the overall pattern favors warmth leading up to Christmas for most of the country. If you're hoping for a white Christmas, your best bet is the upper Midwest and northern plains. Everyone else is looking at a mild holiday. Fifth, there's still a chance for snow lovers next weekend. That potential storm system Saturday and Sunday could bring accumulating snow to the Great Lakes and Midwest. It's not a sure thing yet, but it's something to watch. The weather pattern we're experiencing right now is genuinely unusual. An 80-degree temperature swing in 72 hours doesn't happen often. When it does, it creates challenges: rapid snowmelt, flooding concerns, ice formation, severe weather in December. These are all consequences of such an extreme pattern flip, but it's also a reminder of how dynamic our atmosphere can be. We go from life-threatening cold to spring-like warmth in less than a week. That's the power of the jet stream and the weather patterns it creates. Over the next 7 to 10 days, someone in this country is going to experience nearly every type of weather imaginable. Sub-zero cold, flooding rain, heavy snow, severe thunderstorms, temperatures in the 80s, all within the same week, all within the same nation. That's December weather in America. Unpredictable, extreme, never boring. Keep checking back for updates as this pattern continues to evolve. Whether this active changes quickly and what we're forecasting today might need adjustments tomorrow. That's especially true for that Christmas period, which is still at the edge of reliable forecast range. The main takeaway: bundle up if you're in the cold now, but don't put those winter clothes too far away if you're in the warm-up zone. That Friday refreeze is real, and next weekend's potential storm could bring winter right back to the Midwest and Great Lakes. One more thing to watch: that atmospheric river in the Pacific Northwest isn't a one-and-done event. The pattern supports multiple rounds of heavy rain through at least the middle of next week. River flooding could persist or worsen even after the heaviest rain ends. Saturated soils don't absorb water well, so even moderate rain on top of what's already fallen can cause additional flooding. For those keeping track of snowfall this season, we've already seen some impressive totals. That 8+ inch report from Tilton, Illinois, the 6 to 8 inch swath across central Illinois, Indianapolis approaching a historic start to winter for snowfall. These early season storms have given snow lovers something to celebrate. But with this extended warm pattern coming, snow cover will diminish significantly across the southern Midwest and Ohio Valley. By next weekend, areas like southern Illinois and southern Indiana might be completely snow-free. The snow line will retreat northward, probably settling somewhere around Interstate 80. That's the line running from Iowa through northern Illinois and northern Indiana into northern Ohio and Pennsylvania. North of that line, snow cover persists. South of that line, bare ground returns for a while. The question becomes, can we get enough cold air back in time to support snow for Christmas? Right now, the answer is maybe in the northern states, probably not in the southern states, but 10 days is an eternity in weather forecasting. Patterns can shift, models can change. What looks like a torch fest today could turn into a white Christmas with the right adjustments. That's why staying updated matters. Check back daily as we get closer to Christmas. The forecast will sharpen, the details will crystallize, and we'll have a much better idea of who sees snow and who sees rain or just dry weather for the holiday. For now, focus on the next 72 hours. That's where the most dramatic changes happen. That's where the 80-degree temperature swings occur. That's where snow melts and rivers rise and storms develop. After that, we'll deal with next weekend. Then we'll tackle Christmas. One step at a time. The atmosphere doesn't care about our holiday plans. It's going to do what the physics dictate. High pressure builds, low pressure forms, jet streams undulate, and temperature gradients create all the weather we experience. Our job is to interpret those patterns and translate them into information you can use. And right now, those patterns are screaming change. Dramatic change. Historic change in some cases. An 80-degree swing in 3 days. 20 below 0 to 60 degrees, that's not normal. That's exceptional. And it's happening right now, unfolding across the heartland as we speak. So watch the skies, check the forecasts, stay informed, because the next 10 days are going to be anything but boring for weather watchers across the United States. From the sub-zero cold of Sunday morning to the potential 80-degree heat of next Saturday in Texas, we're about to experience the full range of what North American weather can deliver. Arctic blasts and spring previews all within the same week. This is why weather fascinates. This is why we watch. This is why every forecast matters. The pattern is set. The changes are coming. And by this time next week, we'll be looking at a completely different weather map than what we're seeing today. That's the forecast. That's the pattern. That's what the next 10 days hold for weather across the United States. Stay safe in the cold, prepare for the warmth, and keep watching as this rare winter setup continues to develop and evolve.